Hello, candle lovers. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Greg, and this is All About Candles. How is everyone doing? I've missed you all so much. I just got back from my little mini vacation, and it's been a total whirlwind. We have so much to talk about. Stay tuned for the weekly wax wrap up this Sunday. I'm going to dive into a whole bunch of topics, such as Candle Day. I believe that all of the candles that we're going to be getting for Candle Day, all that information has leaked online. I'm not super impressed with it. So we need to talk about that. We need to talk about Yankee Candle is doing a massive expansion into Canada. And I didn't really quite believe this news when I first heard it, but I read the press release and the candles are on sale now in Canada at a whole bunch of retailers. London Drugs, Canadian Tire, there's more. We're gonna dive into that as well. Give you guys all the juicy details about my little vacation, my Halloween party. You guys know all that stuff gets talked about at the end of my weekly wax wrap up on Sunday. So stay tuned for that. But today we gotta take care of business and review this perfect in pink candle from Bath and Body Works. I really liked this candle, you guys. I think the packaging is really nice. It's a little bit on the nose, but I mean, what else are you gonna make a candle look like that's called perfect in pink? I mean, honestly. And it is a really pretty shade of pink, and I love this lid. I think the lid was a really nice touch on this one. And yeah, it looked really pretty when it was burning. So no complaints about the packaging, honestly. The scent notes on this one are vibrant cherries, pink camellia, and whipped almond cream. Now, I've never really known camellia to have a very strong fragrance. It's not a scent note that I feel like I see very often in fragrance. And so I actually asked my AI assistant to tell me what camellia smells like. And this is what they said. The scent of a camellia flower is often quite subtle, as many camellia species are either lightly fragrant or even odorless. However, when camellias do have a scent, it tends to be delicate, fresh, and slightly sweet, reminiscent of green tea or a light floral aroma. Here are some of the typical scent notes associated with camellia: green and fresh, slightly sweet, earthy and watery. Now, I feel like Bath and Body Works this camellia scent note is really just a way for them to give us sort of a vague floral, because this is one of those Bath and Body Works body care fragrances that's quite formulaic. It is a fruity floral on top and then something kind of rich and dark on the bottom. So, nothing groundbreaking in terms of that, but I really do like this one. I definitely think it's one of the more unique body care fragrances that Bath and Body Works has put out for a little while. That being said, it's not that unique because, I mean, this is like a dupe of their Vacation Vibes, which was a dupe of Sol de Janeiro. And I also think that it's very similar to Sunset Glow, which I haven't smelled for a while. I don't know a lot about Bath and Body Works body care, but this is falling into that category of cherry fragrances that are just very popular right now, both in home fragrance and personal fragrance. Cherry is all over the place. And this is the first cherry candle that Bath and Body Works has released in a long time that I actually like. I thought Cherry Blossom Soju was a fail. I thought that Cherry Blossom Pound Cake was a fail. And there was another, was it Cherry Almond Shortbread? I didn't like that one either. But this one is really nice and rich and just yummy smelling. Yeah, I really like it. I remember smelling that Vacation Vibe when it was in store, and it smells very similar to my nose as this does, but I could be wrong because I never brought it home with me or anything. I just smelled it once or twice in the store. But this really does smell like what that Vacation Vibe Sol de Janeiro ripoff was all about. It's nothing like Black Cherry Merlot, and it's not really like that Eau Cherry from the Everyday Luxuries collection either. This is definitely its own thing in like the Bath and Body Works like genre of cherry right now, if that makes any sense. And it's a very, very rich fragrance. I think that the Camellia, that's just Bath and Body Works being able to give us like a vague floral scent note. What you get is it's quite perfumey. I wouldn't say that this is necessarily a fall fragrance or a summer fragrance. I think that this is a type of fragrance that you could kind of burn almost all year long. I'm sure some people will disagree with me on that because it's personal preference, but this candle doesn't really fall into a specific season for me. But for me, it would definitely be a fall burn or a summer burn if I do repurchase it again. I really, really like it. It does lean fairly perfumey. You know, it's not like a gourmand. And the scent notes might lead you to believe it could almost be a gourmand with that whipped almond cream and the vibrant cherries. But no, this is definitely a fragrance that you would wear and not something that you would eat. It is quite sweet though. It's fairly feminine, perfumey, fruity floral. The cherry note is really nice and I do find it quite vibrant. And like I said, that the floral note in there is very vague. ChatGTP says Camellia is green and fresh, slightly sweet, earthy and watery. I do pick up on a little bit of a green and fresh note. Earthy, this candle is not earthy. Slightly sweet, I'd actually say this candle is fairly sweet. And watery, no. It's just a really, really nicely balanced, perfumey, fruity floral. And on the bottom, you definitely do get something quite smooth and sweet. I don't really pick up on the almond though. If anything, it comes across to me as more like an amber. And you know what? I think wasn't that the scent note on Vacation Vibes? Wasn't it like gilded amber and pistachio or something like that? I pick up on more of an amber in the base of this candle than I do an almond. But there is also something quite smooth and vanilla-ish about it as well. But I really don't get a very nutty vibe at all. But I really do like it, and I do think that it's actually quite nicely balanced. I'd say this candle hits the sort of mid to high range scent-wise. And I really liked it. I really, really do like this fragrance. It did not perform as well as I would have loved for it to. It had like the thin core wicks on it, and I couldn't really smell it that much on the first burn. But the second burn, I definitely let it get to about 3 hours, and it started to have a bit more of a presence about it. I'd say that in like the mid-range of this candle, the average burn was maybe like a 6 or a 6.5 for strength and throw, which was kind of a disappointment to me. I kind of thought that when I smelled this on cold, I thought that in my open concept, I was hoping it would maybe get to like a 7, you know? But I don't think any of the burns quite got to that 7 mark for me. A 7 or an 8 is really kind of like my sweet spot, and I wish that it had been just a little bit stronger. I'd say most of the burns ranged from like a 5.5 to a 6.5. And at this point here, it did dud out in a pretty massive way, which I don't even understand completely because, it's because I've lamped it. I was gonna say the wicks look like they're so tall right now, but that's because I lamped it because it was dudding out so bad. So I'd say, how much do I have left here? At about the 1/3 mark, it was just itty bitty wicks and teeny tiny flames. and I didn't want to deal with it. You guys know I don't like to remove wax from candles or do any of that kind of stuff. And so I just put the rest of it under the heat lamp in my kitchen, and I enjoyed it that way. It was like, it filled my kitchen up pretty nicely under the heat lamp with just like a third of the wax left. I'd say, under the heat lamp, it was a solid 6.5. Still just a little bit shyer of where I would have liked it to be, because honestly, I like this fragrance quite a bit, and I would have liked for this one to have been a powerhouse. I would have liked for this one to have like knocked me over a little bit. I think I could have handled it because it is nicely balanced, and yeah, I just wish it had given me a little bit more. I think I might repurchase one. I do. I don't think I'm going to be buying any more Bath and Body Works until Candle Day happens at the beginning of December. And so during Candle Day, I'll probably pick up one more just because I like the fragrance that much, but I'll probably put it in a Hurricane in a more medium space and hopefully get it up to a 7 that way. Yeah, there's not much left in here, but like I said, it really hit a wall and dudded out at this point. And as you can see, there was a little bit of discoloration and sootiness with the wax there as well. Keep in mind that this has been under a lamp, so that kind of increases the weirdness of the wax. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that this was a disappointment, because overall I enjoyed it and I am thinking about repurchasing it, but I didn't love it. If this could have been a nice solid 7.5, I'd be like, hallelujah, perfect in pink, new favorite. But it just never got to a place of presence that I wanted. Not to say that it was unscented or not noticeable. It did have a presence. I didn't have to search for it, but it just wasn't as strong as I would have liked for it to have been. And it really felt like smelling this on cold, it should have been stronger than it ended up being. So it was a little bit of a bummer, but overall, not the end of the world. A nice candle, an interesting fragrance, Bath and Body Works' sort of contribution to this whole like cherry boom that we're experiencing right now. And like I said, compared to the last like 3 or 4 cherry candles that BBW has released, I think that this is the best one by far. Yeah, perfect in pink. Check it out, folks. I'm not going to thoroughly recommend it, but if you like the fragrance and you're okay with a 6 or a 6.5 for strength and throw, then I would. Yeah. Oh, I can't stop smelling it. I really wish it had been just a little itty bitty bit stronger. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Like I said, stay tuned for the weekly wax wrap up on Sunday, because I'm going to talk about a whole bunch of like candle news at the end of that video. On Saturday, I'm going to have a candle haul for you, and Thursday and Friday, business as usual with the candle review. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you for watching. If you could hit me up with a like, comment, subscription, that would really mean the world to me. And until next time, my dear, gorgeous, and beautiful candle-loving friends, let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Thanks, folks. Bye now.